What's going on, everybody? So I wanted to make a quick video here for the Q&A. I told you guys last week I'd do a video on the most frequently asked questions and also the most upvoted. So I'm going to do the most upvoted next after this one. First, I want to do the most frequently asked. I get asked a lot of questions about sidereal in terms of people confusing it with Vedic and not understanding too why, if you go to like the Wikipedia page for sidereal, that it says different dates, shows different dates for each of the sun signs. So first, to answer the Vedic question, a lot of people confuse Vedic with sidereal. Vedic is a type of astrology. It's an astrology system that has its own techniques, okay? And to compare Vedic, you're comparing Vedic to Western. All right, Western has its own techniques, Vedic have their own techniques. Sidereal is referring to the actual Zodiac system used. So you can be a Western astrologer, such as myself, and use sidereal, right? And you can even be a Vedic astrologer and use tropical. So tropical is typically what the Westerners use, right? So that's the, Western mainstream sun signs and stuff. So in other words, the Western and Vedic are just systems of astrology, and you can use any zodiac system between the two. I mean, technically for Vedic, almost 99% of the time, Vedic astrologers are using a form of sidereal. But, there are some Vedics that do use the tropical zodiac with the Vedic calculations, the Vedic system. So, in other words, to answer the question about the confusion between Vedic and sidereal is that not all sidereal is Vedic. So, in this example, I'll get asked like, "Why will you make a video on Jupiter entering Libra?" Because right now, I believe, in the Vedic system, Jupiter is entering Libra. But in the Vedic system, they're using a type of sidereal that is an even 30 degrees for each of the signs. Okay, so the truth is that the constellations in the sky are larger and smaller than 30 degrees. Some are very large like Virgo, some are very small like Libra. So whenever you're doing that 30 degrees, it's going to make some signs larger than they actually are, like Libra, and some signs smaller than they actually are, like Virgo. So that's the case right now, is we've got Jupiter going through Virgo, which in the actual sky is a very large constellation, and isn't going to be going into Libra until, what did I think? I think it's December. Don't quote me on that, but, so at least a couple months away. Whereas right now in Vedic, Jupiter is going into Libra because of their even 30-degree system. So the system I'm using is the scientific system. I call it the midpoint system, which is taking the midpoint between the actual constellations in the sky and setting the boundary there. So obviously in the sky, there's no actual boundaries between constellations, so that's why there's different types of sidereal. Some are rounded like the Vedic system, and then some even, which I'll discuss next, use the uneven, but they're also different. But the point here is that, yes, Vedic what I'm doing is not Vedic. This is a Western system. And on top of that, I'm not using the same sidereal as Vedic, because Vedic use an even 30-degree sidereal system. And that's actually the most common type of sidereal. Even in the Western sidereal is the even 30 degrees. Like Fagan Bradley, for example, they also use an even 30 degrees. But in the actual sky, constellations are different sizes. So that's what we're using. And then the next question that goes off of this same vein is that if you go to the Wikipedia page for sidereal, you will see the 13 sign sidereal, which is using the actual size of the constellations. But here's the thing, is that those dates and those boundaries that they've set there, that they're using, that you see on the Wikipedia page, are set by the IAU, all right? So the International Astronomical Union. And this is not an astrological association, it's an astronomical one. And their dates are totally wrong. If you look it up using Stellarium or Star Chart or Google Sky or something like that to actually compare it to the sky, you'll see that those IAU boundaries don't match. So people will be asking, why are your dates different for Ophiuchus? Or the same type of question as Jupiter, according to this, the dates are different than your system. And that's because I'm using the midpoint system. So I believe my system's the most scientifically accurate because, like I said, it's taken the midpoint between the constellations. So it's the equivalent of looking up at the sky. Whereas, unfortunately, every other type of sidereal, even these 13 sign sidereal systems, don't actually represent the sky, unfortunately. So you can check this out for yourself. I do highly recommend those of you that are, inquisitive about this and curious about this, check it out. Use an actual planetarium software like Stellarium or Google Sky, or I really like Star Chart. It's an app, I think it's for the iOS, but it's definitely for Android on the phone, because you can actually use your phone, look up at the sky with it. But anyways, check it out for yourself. Look at the actual sky and see, and compare it to my system. And I think you'll find that it does reflect the actual sky. All right, so hopefully that answers that, and maybe gives some of you some good information about the type of sidereal we're using. All right, so see you very soon.